Good evening from London, wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. And today, it's Sunday, and there's no collision. You know what that means. It means it's Sunday Fun Day, and we're bringing back Wrestling Heaven and Hell once again. It's going to be a super fun show. And we've also got to talk about the big controversy here at Wrestling Republic today. Becky Lynch lost to Will Ospreay in the Best European Wrestlers Tournament. 53% of our followers voted for Will Ospreay, while 47 voted for Becky Lynch. It's divided, people. It's caused controversy, and we're going to be jumping into that in just a moment. But before we do, let me introduce the panel, and let's kick it off with the co-host of the show, Clark Taylor. How are you, Clark?
Dude, I'm back. It's been a fun 2 days off. The Jayhawks did take a tough loss, but we will be back next year without question. You did miss one big, most important announcement today, and that is we got to wish my little sister, the best kid sister a big bro could ask for, Katie Taylor, a happy 30th birthday. Love you so much, Katie. Happy birthday. Wish I could be there in New York partying with you. Have one on me, absolutely, and I hope those flowers came in on time. But it is Wrestling Heaven or Hell, and we've got controversy to talk about, so let's get into it, Ben.
Absolutely, and happy birthday to you, Katie, as well. We have a comment here from Rastaclaw5 saying, good evening, Wrestling Republic. Good evening to you as well. And also, good evening to Carter Crisp. How are you today, Carter?
Ben, I'm doing great. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but Clark has gifted me this Stan Hansen collectible. We did open it. I'm sorry. But we are so excited, and the figure is an amazing quality. So if anyone wants to buy a classic wrestling figure, Power Town. But I'm doing great. I have a lot of candidates for heaven, but many more for hell. And yeah, I'm excited. Let's get this.
Wait a second. Clark just gifted to you a figure, and now
it's for sale.
Day on a show
doesn't seem
Clark,
right.
You're putting it on sale.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Why not?
Think about taking it back.
Starting at sticker.
Thinking about taking it back.
Me and Clark will sign it. Yeah.
Does that take the value down if you guys sign it, though? Surely it'll take it down, not up.
I'll personalize it.
I mean, Stan Hansen. Stan Hansen is my candidate for heaven, by the way. I know I'm jumping ahead here, but...
Oh, no.
No, it's no spoilers. This is the spoiler-free show. Chaos. Fix your internet.
I mean,
I can get my cousin if you need a
goodness gracious.
We might need to get Carty Carnet in.
Double shout out, Katie. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Katie.
We have David Marge in the comments celebrating Katie's birthday, or maybe the fact Carter's trying to sell Clark's action figure.
Could be either one. We'll trade you for Rio.
Shard saying he will trade that figure for Rio. Carter, your thoughts?
I would prefer to trade him for a real wrestler, but no, my cousin would not be in favor of the trade, but I would do 2 Rihos for 1 Stan Hansen.
Oh, it's like Pokemon cards back in the day where it was like, you can have my 2 for 1 of yours. We've lost Chaos. And on that note, let's just jump headfirst into
this is the special edition tape trading episode of I'm kidding. It's Sunday Fun Day. Sorry, Ben.
Shard's asking, does Chaos live in the mountains? He actually lives just in the middle of nowhere in the great country of Wales. But I'm sure he'll be back in a moment. But let's kick things off with Shard's comment here about Becky Lynch, because he's saying Becky Lynch is the best women's wrestling superstar of all time and the best European superstar as well. Will trash... that doesn't really work, does it? Trash spray fanatics.
Trash spray.
It doesn't really work, Shard. I think that one's just a miss. Can take their 5-star matches to hell, not heaven. Well, if you guys haven't seen, I explained it a bit in the intro. I'll explain it again. In our best European wrestling tournament poll, 53% voted for Will Ospreay, 47% voted for Becky Lynch, and it's created a bit of an uproar from both sides. The Will Ospreay side, which I'm going to be honest, in the comments, seems to be the vast majority of people are saying, hang on a second, how did Will Ospreay only win by 6%? Meanwhile, the Becky Lynch fans, such as Shard, are saying, hang on a second, Becky Lynch should have won. This makes no sense. But Clark, what are your thoughts on it?
So I gotta say, it's based on fan vote, right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to criticize our own system, but it's a subjective vote as it is, right? If we're being objective, Becky Lynch is more successful. There's no question. If it's me voting, it's Becky Lynch. Does that mean I dislike Will Ospreay? Does that mean I think she's better than Will Ospreay? No. I'm going off resume and success alone. I think Will Ospreay, bell to bell, is one of the best in the world. He's also incredibly talented on the mic.
Yeah.
I also think Becky Lynch is a generational talent in the women's division, and what she's accomplished with the man character, the longevity, the ability to become more versatile and evolve over the course of her career is something that is hard to compare back to Will Ospreay. Yes, he's evolved plenty in his career as well, but I would have given Becky the nod personally. Am I going to be offended by the way the vote went? No. It's the way the vote went, right?
It's the internet.
It is what it is. It's the internet. And at the end of the day, Will Ospreay won the vote. My personal opinion, Becky Lynch has been more valuable to pro wrestling thus far in her career than Will Ospreay, so I'd give her the nod. And she's slightly more successful given a multitude of factors. There's so many things going on here. Becky Lynch was a huge part of the women's revolution, all of that. Main eventing Mania for the first time in the, there's maybe a stain on the Ronda Rousey roll up, but neither here nor there. It's not about that, right? Her shoulders were down or they weren't. It is what it is. But she won the title at Mania, and then the man character is the most over of anyone at that time. And then she's continued to evolve from there. Big Time Bex wasn't anyone's favorite, but it worked for the time period it lasted. Ospreay has done a lot of different things too, but a lot of it has been about just bell-to-bell work. And I think
I'd really argue that.
As far as success is concerned, a lot of it is based on his bell-to-bell work, I would say. In a way where Becky's is, they both have the it factor. There's no doubt about it. But what Becky did is trailblazing. It's industry shifting in a way that Ospreay hasn't quite done yet, despite his incredible success.
Yeah, I mean that's a great point.
And I'm not trying in any way to knock Will Ospreay. I think both are great. If it's my call, I think Becky should have won, but I do have no issue with the result because that's how the votes went down.
Yeah, I think I'd try and get back on the good side of the comment section.
I'm really not.
We've got
being honest, guys.
We got a comment here from Rastaclaw5, who's saying that he wrestled Will Ospreay back in his teens, and a lot hasn't changed, and he still just does a lot of high-flying, quick moves without pace in matches, and no selling. While it's great in certain wrestlers, it doesn't work every match, and Will doesn't sell very well. I want to see the match you had against him. I didn't realize you were a wrestler.
I'm very curious, and I love the comment too. And what I would say is also, like, I especially understand that about Will's early career, and that's where, I mean, with this discussion, that's such an interesting comment. Yeah, I'm fascinated by that. I'd love to see
2004 down in Essex, which would mean I mean, that would have mean Will Ospreay was literally like 15. Wow.
Must have
I know
been.
he did start young, but I need to see that. If there's a tape of that match, I want to see that. But we do have a couple of comments here. With Matt Williams saying, "What about Tiffy? Yeah, Shard's been caught. He's cheating on his favorite Tiffy time with big time backs, but he is saying that Clark knows ball, and David Marge saying that he would vote for Becky Lynch and send Ospreay to wrestling hell. I mean, that's a little extreme. That really certainly is. And that match is on YouTube, that Rastaclaw and Will Ospreay had. I need to see that for sure. But we also previously had a comment, and that comment was from Shard saying Chaos lives in the mountains. Well, Chaos has managed to find internet. He's rediscovered
Back
internet
from the
once
mountains.
again. I mean, what's your thoughts? Well, Chaos, firstly, how are you? And secondly, Becky Lynch or Will Ospreay?
Yeah, sorry about that. My laptop decided to be racist and just shut down on me, even though it's fully plugged in and everything. So maybe it was because it was just hating on this awesome video that I have and loving memory of Akira Toriyama. But yeah,
Hey.
happy to be here. Happy Sunday, all that. Your question: do I agree with the fact that Will Ospreay beat Becky Lynch to in the tournament? I'm not surprised that he has. I think it's just based down on the match quality. Now, obviously, if you want to talk about, if you want to be technical, Becky Lynch is the biggest superstar. She is trailblazed, if that is the right word. And she's been part of many firsts within WWE. She's multiple women's champions. She's a Grand Slam champion, if I'm not mistaken. She's cool. But in terms of her matches, in terms of memorable matches, I think it's tricky for people to really name at least 5 great matches for Becky Lynch compared to Will Ospreay. You could name more than 5. That's been 5-star plus. Not to say that there's anything wrong with Becky Lynch's matches, but in terms of stories and matches that get people talking, Will Ospreay is that guy more than Becky Lynch. I think that's where people kind of voted him over Becky Lynch, even though she is the bigger star. And but who's to say if Will Ospreay did actually go to WWE, he could be just as a bigger star, if not bigger, as than Becky Lynch. But obviously, we will never know that. But yeah, right now, I think when it comes to that, the voting, I think people just brought it down to mainly just memories and match quality. Like I said, let's take away from Becky Lynch. But yeah, I would struggle to find 5 memorable matches that I would actually go back to the network and watch. Unlike with Ospreay, he has all the Kenny Omega matches, match with Takeshita,
all the ZSJ ones. They're my personal favorites.
There you go. Instantly. That just shows. Like, name me at least 3 memorable matches you would actually go back to Becky Lynch. Like, off the top of your head. It's kind of tricky.
There's the rematch with Bianca Belair I really enjoyed. There was
that's one.
The Hell in the Cell match she had. You are right.
See?
It is difficult. It's difficult to name. The thing is, I enjoy a lot of her matches as they happen, but you're right.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
There aren't that
many.
I'm saying,
as they happen, they're fun. Absolutely, like I said, the SummerSlam match between her and Bianca was great for the time or whatever. And
her and Charlotte was pretty good.
Oh yeah,
but still, like you're
all the
thinking about
baby ones.
Your point holds up, Chaos.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
match quality. Will Ospreay, I think it's hard to argue that he is not, the guy. But Carter, what about you? Becky Lynch, Will Ospreay, who is better?
I was going to say, who would you rather see wrestle Zack Sabre Jr.? And it's Ospreay. I've been sent from the Oi Bruv contingency to tell you that, yes, Ospreay is the right person here. Even though it really is an apples to oranges comparison, though. I mean, there's an argument for why you want Okada to go to AEW, because he can stick with his New Japan style of wrestling. So, I mean, Ospreay's done everything you could possibly do outside of WWE, while Lynch has done everything you could do inside of WWE. So, we don't know what's going to happen unless we saw Becky like do a PWG Indie New Japan run. So it's apples to oranges. It's rec centers in Rosita versus and Osprey's not doing that, but it's very different styles of wrestling based on different audiences, different business models, and they're both amazing at what they do. I've seen both of them live. They're both amazing wrestlers, and I mean, it's like, is Grateful Dead or Led Zeppelin better? They're both good. They're both just very good. So,
yeah, no, that is true. And my 2 cents on the matter is this, right? I think that Becky Lynch is the bigger star. I think Will Ospreay is the better wrestler. But in terms of which one I'd vote for, I originally, was thinking Becky Lynch. But there is one thing Becky Lynch needs to do before I'd be happy to vote for her against Will Ospreay. And that is have a match against Ricochet on WWE Speed that causes mass controversy on all social media. Carty Carnett's livid about it, going on a rant. That's what we need to see. We need to see Becky Lynch do some flips, and then she'll be better. Now, I'm only joking. Becky Lynch did get my vote personally just because of star power overall. I mean, chaos. Soul saying to you, stop using Internet Explorer. Your internet might actually be stable.
Imagine. I think that died out, but yeah, appreciate the feedback. So yeah, don't worry. Hey. Whatever.
Yeah, well, anyway, let's now move on, because let's move on to play my favorite game in the world. It's Sunday Funday. Let's play it. It's Wrestling Heaven or Hell. If you've not seen these segments before, guys, we basically do them when we have nothing else to talk about, but it is really, really fun. Wrestling Heaven, it's quite self-explanatory. You could send a very specific wrestler there, a specific match, a specific moment, a specific spot in a match or something, a specific move, anything like that. And then Hell, same again, but for things you hate, things that you never want to see again. That's Wrestling Heaven and Hell. Each round, each contestant has a go at trying to argue to me why they want their object or wrestler, whatever it is, to be sent to Wrestling Heaven or Hell. They then swap over, they keep both, they all have a go, and then at the end, I decide what goes to Wrestling Heaven and what goes to Wrestling Hell. Clark, you kick us off here and give us what you want to send to Wrestling. What are we doing first? Wrestling Heaven or Hell? Wrestling Heaven.
I was going to say, please don't say Hell, because I was ready to go with the Heaven one.
We've got tech difficulties everywhere today.
It's fine. We're going with Wrestling Heaven. I'm ready for it. And this might be a shock pick if you know me well enough to know that I've been critical of the injury risk involved in this scenario. But I'm going to send 2-night WrestleMania to Wrestling Heaven.
Oh.
And I think deservedly so. And here's why. Here's why, my friends. If you look back, now, Pontiac Silverdome, WrestleMania 3, they filled it with 90,000 fans. It's unbelievable, right? And of course, Hulk Hogan went on to call the Superdome the Silverdome, which is of equal size, but in an entirely different city. And that's neither here nor there. But my point is, they've been filling big buildings for a long time for this event. When it comes to WrestleMania, the only way to one-up it for yourself, for company growth, is to do it 2 times in the same weekend. And they've proven that that's a non-issue through a global pandemic, through all of this. It is one of the best things that's ever happened to wrestling because of the amount of complaints. We saw about 7.5 hour, 8 hour, 10 match card WrestleManias. Now we have 2 nights and we're fascinated by both. We are fascinated by both. Not only that, it gets fans in the building that are starving to go, that maybe can't afford to go for 2 nights, but can get in the door for 1. Talk about that is excellent. You have Saturday and Sunday. It's a weekend dedicated to pro wrestling. It's one of the best things that has happened in this business ever, and it's overlooked. It is a success story. We sit back here and we take it for granted every single year that it happens. because you see a great 4 hours on night one and you want the next 4 no matter what happens, no matter how the card's booked.
Sure.
And as a pro wrestling fan, that is so pure and so great. It's something I love. And I'm really, really, really happy that that's what we've got. And I'm glad that they've stuck with it, because 2-Night Mania to me has always made sense since the start. It does to this day. It's whether you love the execution every single year or not. Let's not go back to 10 matches on one night. 2 nights is the way to go. And it's been just absolutely delightful.
It has. I mean, that is a great one, Clark. It truly, truly is. You brought up, that the length of them when they were one night, and it was like 7.5, 8 hours. I mean, I live in the UK.
Yeah.
They were rough. Like,
Deep
I remember
into the night.
It really is. Like, literally, my final year in school, sometimes a WrestleMania fell in the school holiday, sometimes it didn't. My final year in school, it didn't fall in those spring holiday, so I had to go to school like immediately following it. But I thought, okay, I'll get 3-4 hours of sleep, maybe I'll be fine, maybe a quick nap. The show finished half an hour before I needed to leave to go to school. That's how long it went. It started at 1 a.m. By the time it finished, I had to go to school.
Time to get dressed and go to school.
I was worried I was going to be
Brutal.
late for a minute. But I mean, that is a great one. But Carter, what about you? What do you want to send to Wrestling Heaven?
Ben, I would like to send to Wrestling Heaven the Lariat. Specifically, Stan Hansen's Lariat. So, Clark, by the way, you could buy this online or from me after the show. And Clark mentioned that Stan Hansen, he was legally blind, so he couldn't see his opponent, and he freaking would just absolutely wallop with his finisher Lariat. And I'm sending that move to Wrestling Heaven. Stan Hansen was, I mean, one of my favorite wrestlers from the golden era of All Japan with Giant Baba and all those guys. So I'm going to send his finishing move to Heaven. I think he was hugely influential on Hangman Adam Page, and it's just a great move. Logan Paul, unfortunately, has also dipped into the greatness. I know, Ben. Put down the Prime bottle for a second to acknowledge that. I guess he's learning from the greats, but I would like to put the Lariat into Wrestling Heaven.
I mean, that is certainly a wild one, but no, I'm only joking.
Wild card.
That is seriously, it is one of the best Lariats. I will completely and utterly agree with you. It is very underrated when people talk about the best Lariats. It really is, because I feel like that discussion's come up a lot the last few years, and very rarely has his name been brought up with it. But his name undoubtedly deserves to be, because also he inspired a lot of people who are doing them nowadays as well. But Chaos has found his way back. He's learned what internet is again.
Nothing happened. Nothing happened. What are you about?
What would you send to Wrestling Heaven?
Okay, so I'm now trying Firefox, so we'll see what happens. No, I'm joking. Yeah, Wrestling Heaven. This one's very specific. They don't really do it as much now, but what I loved is anytime finishers were done, especially when it was the stunner or the rock bottom or people's elbow, the leg drop. When the cameras lined up correctly, you see everyone's cameras flat like at the same time. It just makes it look more impactful, very superstar-like. So as soon as they hit the move, it's almost, if you have epilepsy, you're screwed. But it's like flashing lights everywhere. It's like everyone just
I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's just everyone's just waiting with their cameras for that one awesome moment, and it just makes it more glorified, more glamorous when that happens. They don't really do it as much now. But I don't know if it was actually actual fans doing it or it was production, but it just made it look just very movie like, very Hollywood. And I just love that kind of stuff. And it just, when you watch video packages or like just old matches from before, it just makes it just more awesome anytime Austin hits the stunner or the rock bottom or Rock does the rock bottom, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I would like to go to Wrestling Heaven.
Well, that's the development of cameras. Cameras have gotten better, and with that, the effects, like you explained, have unfortunately gotten worse. We can't see those camera flashes when a big move is hit anymore. That is so specific and so out there, but I love it. That indeed is a great one. I mean, I'm going to get you all back on screen now, and let's talk about it. Let's see what the comments think first. I want to get their thoughts on it. Firstly, Bobby Petito, shout out to you. David Marge is saying 2 Nights of Mania definitely deserves to go to Wrestling Heaven. Bobby Petito saying he'd like to see Nick Nemeth winning the IWGP Global Championship from David Finlay going to Wrestling Heaven. That's an interesting one. Meanwhile, Soto wants to see Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson. That's not happened yet. It can't go to Wrestling Heaven if it's not happened.
Too early.
But and meanwhile, Shard wants to send Tiffany Stratton because she's done more in her career than Okada and has the prettiest moonsault. Give her flowers. I mean, listen, Shard, in the time that this broadcast has started, is, you know, all the Tiffy marks on Twitter have all turned on him. He used to be the president of the Tiffy Time gang on Twitter. Not anymore. They've all turned on him because of his comments praising Becky Lynch. And now he's trying to get back in their good books. I know what's happening, Shard. I know what's happening.
Shard is the king of the Tiffy fan club, though. That's what people don't
Not
realize.
anymore. He said
still
big time
is.
Bex
It
is
doesn't
better.
matter what the internet says. Tiffy knows.
He said big time Bex is better. Can't be a real fan if you don't think every other wrestler is rubbish. That's the internet's for you.
About the dedication.
Anyway, I'll summarize, right? I like all 3 of these a lot.
Whoa, he picked me too, by the way. You didn't even show that comment. I got Clark.
Oh, okay. Well, Shard's back in class. I mean,
you're gonna overwrite that.
Well, you were getting on the joke. But Carter, I liked yours a lot. That was very specific and chaos. Yours, I think, was the most specific we've ever had on Wrestling Heaven and Hell, and I like that a lot. I really, really do. I like how specific it is. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about things which make a huge difference,
Soul's got chaos.
Soul's back.
Does his vote really count? Bobby's laughing, but I feel like he voted me.
No, Bobby's sweating. It's getting nervous. The nerves are generating about this. But when we're talking about, you know, out of all 3 of those things, what has the biggest impact? I'm going to be honest, it's the 2 Nights of Mania. So, Clark, you win this round. Like Rasta Core 5 is saying in the comments, for us international fans, it makes a huge difference. And also from a perspective too.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I was gonna say I was at the last one that was it WrestleMania 30 or whatever it was in New York, and yeah, it was absolutely the absolute worst, especially when it came to transport. We didn't get back till about 4 or 5 a.m. because the New Jersey Transit obviously closed, and WWE didn't bring extra buses, so we had to wait in the pouring rain. All Ubers were gone, and yeah, we were just But imagine 70,000 people waiting for buses, like extra buses. Very fun.
Why didn't you show walk at that point? But anyway, literally, I don't understand this when people do this. Is anybody aware that if you go to an event and you can't get an Uber, walk like 25 minutes away and you can get an Uber?
No, trust me. Look, no, it was in New Jersey and we was based in Manhattan. It's no.
We're not doing this on air. Also, remember what we had to do in LA. That wasn't exactly an Uber.
Yeah.
No, I know. Just walk 25 minutes, people.
Would be
get
simple.
some exercise. Honestly, people nowadays, isn't it? Nobody's willing to walk. But I mean,
you get a street dog in LA at least.
Exactly right. Visit the nice vendors who are, you know, very, very legally selling things on the street, and you know, have a lovely walk. But I mean, What? I don't understand this comment from Matt. Ben, what the hell kind of
chalice was that?
You drinking a chalice?
You got a chalice?
No.
You
drinking from a chalice?
When did you have a chalice? It's a Coca-Cola cup.
That's cool. That's classic.
Still a chalice. I actually like chalice better.
What's a chalice?
No, it's not a chalice. But
like
whatever.
A chalice is like a big glass.
This is like a small glass. Maybe it's somewhere distorted.
But it's shaped.
It's medium.
It's
medium
specially
size.
shaped.
Oh yeah, it's not a pint glass. It's
not like a straight
it's
down
actually
one.
smaller
That's a
than the
UK large.
Coca-Cola
It's
one
a
would
UK
be.
large.
Grande.
Yeah, it's a
in
UK
Spain.
large. That's not a US large.
Yeah, that one's
A US large is a UK small. But anyway, let's. Oh no, that's wrong. A
flip
UK
back.
large is a
Well,
US.
you had
small,
it,
that's
but
the
just
one.
flip it.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's talk about. Well, actually, before we move on, we're talking about all these glass sizes. There's too many nowadays. UK large, US large. How do you know what there is? Who knows? It's all complicated. And do you know what else there's too much of? There's too many links in bios, right? How am I meant to know where you are on Twitter? How am I meant to know how to find you on YouTube? It's just overly complicated, and I don't like that. Well, thankfully, our good friends at Next Level also don't like that, and they've made a solution. You can see all our links all in one place at nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic to see all our content across all platforms, all linked in one place, plus exclusive content, plus a thriving wrestling community on there. Great content from a lot of creators. And also, just in case that wasn't enough,
Mostly
I
us.
believe there's still time to enter the WrestleMania giveaway to win tickets to night 2 of WrestleMania and the Raw after Mania, plus a hotel, plus tailgating. Click that link, scroll to the bottom and see if the option's still there. I believe it finishes tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And then on the 29th, which is Friday, the winner should be revealed by Next Level. A lot of people are excited for that. That one is for sure. We got Shard saying it, Next Level gang, baby.
Yeah, no doubt.
Absolutely. And Matt Williams saying, hell yes. Hell
Yeah.
yes, indeed. But now let's move on and let's talk about the devastating, the terrifying wrestling hell. Carter, I'm going to start with you. What do you want to send to the deep depths of wrestling hell?
Now, Ben, I have a parcel here. I think that's what I believe that's what you call that in the UK. We call it
We
mail
do.
over here.
A parcel.
It's from my cousin, and he says Mr. Carty Cornett would like to send a la Real Glass, the AEW legal team, to Wrestling Hell for that little splash they put up, and just for getting glass in the attendees' eyes. So Carty Cornett would
Don't
like
think
to
that
send
happened.
Tony Khan's lawyers. Me personally, I'm a big fan of their legal. I love the company. I love everything the company does. But Carty Cornett would like to send the legal team from AEW for their as he would call it, paper thin, shield, with the real glass and the eyeballs and you know. I don't have to paraphrase what he would say if he were here.
I mean, Carter, is Carty Cornett over at your house today?
I think so. I think he's at the store. He was yelling at a squirrel earlier.
Do you reckon we could get him
He
in
was yelling at a
to explain
squirrel.
this?
Maybe, yeah. If you give me a minute. Give me 1 minute.
Okay, well, I'll let you. We'll come back to you, and I'm gonna go and get Chaos in here while you're explaining. Well, while you're trying to get hold of Carty Cornett. I'd love to hear more about the real or fake glass situation. But Chaos, what about you? What do you want to send to Wrestling Hell?
All right, this is another specific one. I don't know if this even qualifies. You might last laugh at this one. Okay. My you know what grinds my gears? In the words of Peter Griffin.
PG.
Where someone hit the finisher and they both lay on the ground and then they do that slow crawl.
Yes.
And then they're just like, they got all the energy in the world to hit their finisher, but all of a sudden they take an absolute eternity to like completely crawl to that opponent, and then they just fling their arm on there. And it's like, we all know it's not going to be the end. Like, you completely wasted this time to when you could have easily, realistically, all you got to do is just do a couple of these couple scrubs over instead of just doing this belly crawl, trying to make out as if like you haven't had a drink in a month and like you just expended all your energy on this lame move that probably never puts away anyone. And it just, for me, it really irritates me because we all know that it's, no one takes time, no one does that to go for a pin or try to secure a victory over anybody. So that's one of my gripes, that it's been overplayed in wrestling. They really need to stop, especially WWE. WWE milked it to smithereens. One person I love doing it is definitely Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler. But yeah, I just hate that troll they
You're
do.
not helping your point now, bringing up somebody who does it well.
But it's like it's just overplayed. You know what I mean? It's just that them kind of things just really annoy me. And it's just, we just know we could have picked a guy a long time ago, but you just really just longing it out, and then guess what? He kicks out at 2 3/4. So yeah, that's one thing they really need to stop doing. They do that long crawl to go pin, and it's like for dramatic effect. Get over yourself. Stop doing it.
So the reason that started was because obviously, adrenaline. When you hit a finisher, maybe you've got the strength, and then you got the adrenaline, it's going through you. It gives you just about enough energy to end the match. And then afterwards you are tired. You are so tired from it. However, now to your point, it's gone to the point where they're crawling to each other for ages. They then stand back up and they go running the ropes again and hit each other's finishers multiple times. Like I agree. Nowadays, it makes no sense. That is a great one. Again, specific, but I think great. Wrestlers crawling, certainly a good one. But talking about crawling, we seem to have somebody who's crawled over to the stream, and that is Carty Carnett. Carty, your cousin tells us that you want to send the AEW legal team to Wrestling Hell.
Why is he sweating?
There's a lot of people I want to send to Wrestling
yelling
Hell.
at the squirrel.
We're going to start on this one little quick. Let me tell you something, Mr. Benjamin. Now, let's say this person's sitting in the front row. They're just there with their buddies, and they're not so into getting glass in their eyeballs. Could you imagine that we could have issues with real glass going in people's eyeballs? And then all of a sudden we can have no more fun. There's no more competition. There's no more second company. So I would like to send these graduates from who knows where university running this legal department over here at this wrestling company. Somebody needs to hold them to account. But trust me, there's many more people on this list. But I'm starting slow and easy with one that's very obvious. Tony, you need a new legal team.
The people who hold people accountable aren't being held accountable. I mean, suing a legal team is certainly an interesting move, that's for sure.
Legal team on legal team crime.
It's unprofessional. Let me tell.
Who would they use as their defense? Would they need to hire a legal team to defend the legal team?
Do you see the issue?
Sounds like we're starting to stack legal teams here.
Tony should have this sorted out.
This turned into an inflated roster debate.
And had you not used the right glass, we wouldn't even be talking about this. But you had to use real glass.
Cry me a river.
There's so many conflicts of interest in this, possible thing, because if something controversial happens during the case, they then have to bring in another legal team. So then there's 3 legal teams involved in once. It's just my set's falling down. This is just absolute. I mean, that is certainly an interesting one, Carty Carnett. Well, Clark, listen, you won the first round. Will you win this one? What do you want to send to Wrestling Hell?
I'm a little unsure. Chaos had a really strong argument, obviously. Carter had a good one, and then Mr. Carnett obviously added on top of that. But I've been thinking about it all day. This is a huge topic for me. And wait a minute, hang on. Should I do it? Oh, yeah, okay, I should. Okay, hang on. I'm sending to Wrestling Hell Cody Rhodes' stupid, goofy tie clips. I'm sick of them. Oh, goodness. And I hate them. I hate everything about them. I don't like them. It makes me not want him to finish the story. I'm done with it. I'm sick of it. Stop it. Why are you wearing those? It's not the 1950s. We're done with this stuff. It's ridiculous. Who Who are you trying to impress? It's unbelievable to me. Makes me want to see him get cut in half by Roman Reigns. Get your ones up. I'm sick of these silly tie clips. Why? The suits are pretty good looking outside of that, but he's in a mint green suit with a tie clip. Like, might as well have like a pen in there instead of a pocket square. Like, what in the world are we doing? And I'm no fashionista, but I am sick of the tie clip. I'm done with it. I am so done with the tie clip. It's got to go to wrestling hell. Stop it. Why are we? You are not in a gangster movie from the 1950s. You're not. You do not. You don't. You're not. It's not when you're from. Why are you dressing like you're from a different era? It doesn't make sense. Dress like you live in 2024 because you do. And then maybe I'm in on finishing the story. If he could figure that out, I might be in on finishing the story. But if he continues to dress like some sort of mafia movie from the 50s and 60s, I don't know what to say on that.
I disagree with you. I think these tie clips are an excellent fashion statement. I think Cody Rhodes,
what's he worried about his tie blowing away in the wind?
He'll inspire the next generation to wear
like
tie
a sterling silver tie clip for no reason, just to show off. How can you be a baby face in that? Don't get me wrong. I think it's cool that he wears the suits and whatnot or whatever, but he doesn't wear cufflinks. Like, why is he? I'm gonna
summarize. I'm gonna summarize. People actually are throwing the twos up and the ones and the twos up in the comments there about that. But Shard saying Chaos won this round, and I'm going to be honest, I agree. Chaos, I'm giving you this round. Wrestlers crawling to each other, I didn't think was what I would be sending to Wrestling Hell today, but it's what's going there. However, we're in a predicament now, and we're in a predicament in terms of it's 1-1.
It's time.
And we also have about 4 minutes left of this show. So you guys are both going to have about 60 seconds each to tell me not something that should go to Wrestling Hell, not something that should go to Wrestling Heaven, but instead something that should go to Wrestling Purgatory, where, it can improve. So something which is bad now, but you believe could be improved if it gets sent somewhere where it's forced to improve. Clark, I'm going to start with you. What are you sending there?
I'm going to go with the AEW women's division. I think there's no question in my mind. This is something that could be deeply improved, but it's so talent stacked. I don't think it needs to be sent elsewhere. It just Purgatory right this second. That's where it stands. It can be so immensely improved because the talent's there. Everything is there. Everything is in place to make it work. We've got Toni Storm at the helm doing the best work of her career inside of a capsule that we don't really like everything else that's going on, but we do like that. We've also got Mercedes Moné. We've got so many good things going for this division. Willow Nightingale. I can't stop naming enough good talents. Dr. Britt Baker on the sideline. Thunder Rosa. So many great women in this. This is a division that could dominate wrestling for a while when it comes to women's wrestling. Like, there is absolute charisma and absolute talent in this division. I'm going with the AEW women's division.
Well, that is certainly a great choice. But Chaos, what about you? What are you saying it's Wrestling Purgatory to improve?
All right, this one is also another specific one, but yeah, it has a good and bad. Right, so basically, wrestlers that literally wait for the entrance theme to come on before they actually go and make the save. Now, it has good moments. When you hear that glass break. When someone's getting beat down, you hear Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out running the riot. Or then you got bad cases where Matt Hardy is getting his ass beat, and then Jeff Hardy, before he comes to make the save, is busy doing this, like on the way to the ramp, like for 5 minutes. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? Your brother's getting his ass beat. So it's all about timing. It's all about who actually warrants that. Don't flip and just be at the curtain and then say like, yo, you got my cue? Well, wait a minute. All right, now, and then just start making your way. Like, it's certain people can get away with it. Steve Austin can get away with it. The Rock maybe can get away with it. Not Jeff Hardy, not flipping Cody Rhodes where he's doing that weird ass run. Like, just no. That's the thing. So I think they can improve it with certain people actually warrant it. and that's why it should go in the purgatory, because it's good and sometimes it's bad. There you go.
Well, those are certainly two very solid ones from both of you. Shard saying, does Shard want to send Riho to Wrestling Purgatory? I presume that's a mistake.
I think he was just correcting me on I didn't mention Riho when I was listening to AEW.
Oh, okay. Matt Williams is saying Dunk the Clown in Wrestling Purgatory.
I would put him there.
I'd probably go downward there.
David Mard saying Adam Copeland. I agree with you. Apart from I'd send him to wrestling hell, so we wouldn't have to see him ever again. Maybe he could be improved if he acknowledges Christian Cage as his father figure. So maybe I'll agree with you, Dick. Maybe you're a nicer guy than I am on it. Bobby Petito saying maybe AW brings in Will Ospreay's girlfriend, Alex Windsor. I mean, she actually is absolutely great. But now the finale. Who will win, Clark or Chaos? You both made great points. You guys know my thoughts on AEW's women's division, the lack of time it's gotten. I went on a rant on Take It to the Table, which you can watch on the Wrestling Republic YouTube channel earlier this week about that. So, Clark, a great point you made. But Chaos, also a fantastic point you made. Themes hitting when people are making run out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If it got improved and it always worked, well, then it would make things feel a lot more special, and it would feel more special when it happens. But again, that AEW women's division, you guys know my thoughts on it, but I don't believe they're your thoughts, Clark. I believe after all these arguments we've had, you just said that to try and win this round.
Yeah.
You've defended that women's division over and over and over again. So, Chaos, I am sending wrestlers making their entrances for run-ins of Wrestling Purgatory, and you win today's
good win. Fair enough.
In the words of Cristiano Ronaldo, Sue.
Hey, I wanted Bobby and Shad's hearts.
Forget them.
Well,
okay.
Okay. On that note, that's the end. That's the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe wherever you guys are watching. Cheeky 5 stars on Spotify makes my week. Thank you to Chaos. Thank you to Carter. Actually, Carty, who's got the Stan Hansen figure. And thank you to Clark. We'll see you guys tomorrow for Mailbag Monday. Pa.